cool kids, for this week's video, we have a piece that I've been putting off for way too long. This is some fan art for Baylee J, specifically of her cats, and I'll get more into the piece a little later, but first I just want to gush about Baylee for a bit. I first found Baylee way back in the day when she was still doing manga lessons, and her art really inspired my art back then, and I think some of it carries over into how I draw now. I refound Baylee a couple years back, and had I not refound her, I don't think I would have started this channel, to be honest. I didn't really realize the YouTube art community was a thing before I started watching Baylee. Like, I knew there were tutorials, and I did watch those speed paints that were like pretty anime girls being drawn with J-pop in the background, but Baylee was the first channel that really drew me into the YouTube artist community as a whole, so I'm grateful for her for that. And on top of that, I still find her artwork really inspiring, and she in general just seems like such a sweet person. And like, this may sound a little weird being someone who doesn't know her at all, but whenever I follow any artist online, I really love watching them grow and evolve as an artist, and I just feel so proud seeing how much Baylee's grown, both in her art and in her career, even though, again, I really don't know her, and I doubt I'll ever meet her, but I'm proud of her. Back to the piece, I started watching Baylee's vlogs a couple months before she got the kitties, and I think I've been looking for an excuse to draw them ever since. The main inspiration for this piece is that sometimes the cats will like hunt down spiders living in Baylee's house, and side note, why are there so many spiders in this country? Like, maybe it's just a BC thing, but I swear to God, I've seen 10 times more spiders since I've moved to Canada than I think I did in my entire time living in America. And like, I live on an island. How do spiders even get onto an island? Do they have little spider boats? Like, I don't understand, but anyway, I thought it would be cute to draw Kiki and Midna hunting down spiders. Originally, Kiki was supposed to have the bow and Midna was supposed to have the sword, but I decided the silver armor would look better on Kiki and the black cape would look better on Midna, so I switched her weapons around. Beyond that, the weapons were chosen pretty much randomly. I just wanted to draw things that would fit in with the sort of fantasy-ish setting I wanted the piece to have, although in hindsight, I don't know how useful either of those weapons would be in hunting spiders, especially since, like, they're cats, they have claws. Why would they need swords? I thought about just giving them steel knuckles, but giving them weapons looked cooler, and I couldn't figure out how steel knuckles would work on their paws, and again, cats, they have claws, they don't need steel knuckles, but functionality wasn't really my main concern for this piece. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how I wanted to draw the kitties. Like, there is an entire page of my sketchbook that's just devoted to drawings of cats, because I wanted to work out the style of the cats before I really devoted myself to the piece as a whole. I wasn't sure how toony or realistic I wanted to go, and in the end, I think I leaned a lot more heavily towards the toony side, which it works, but I also think that had I gone for a more complex design, it would have given the piece a more striking and exciting look. I went about coloring this piece a little differently than usual. You may notice I did the color blocking before the line art, and that's because I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about the line art. My original plan was to have like an entirely lineless piece, but I was concerned that wouldn't really work with the style of the cats. So I considered doing partial line art instead, where some parts were lined and some parts weren't, but I just couldn't commit to that, and I ended up lining the whole piece, and I kind of regret it. Like, I did no line art in the background, and I kind of like how that looks more than the cats. I think if I had the time to go back and redo some things, I would fix up the line art. It's not that it's entirely bad, I don't know, I think it would lend itself better to the piece if it was either less noticeable or done more cleanly, although it does make the cats pop, which is good, and I was going for a bit of a less clean, more natural feel for this piece. It's just not my favorite part. So, fun fact, my original plan for this was to do it traditionally and then mail the original to Baylee as a sort of thanks for being my art inspiration or whatever, but she closed her PO box recently, and so that sort of put a hamper to that plan. Part of the reason I put it off for so long was that I was worried I wasn't good enough at traditional art for it to be, like, worth the effort of sending it to her. Like, literally, part of the reason I've been spending so much money on traditional supplies lately is because I hope that one day I'd owned enough traditional supplies to be good at art, which is silly, I know, but let this be a lesson to myself and to anyone else out there like me to stop procrastinating your art because you don't think you're good enough. Like, I know I've said it a million times before, but a meh drawing is way better than no drawing at all. One of the perks of Baylee closing her PO box was that I didn't need to worry about a physical artwork anymore, so I could do this digitally instead, which is a medium I'm much more comfortable with. I tried going for a more textured look with this piece, just because I feel like my digital art's been a little flat lately, and I've been meaning to use more textures in my art anyway, but like with the whole lining my art thing, I'm really bad at committing. This seemed like the perfect picture though to test it on because it was a very natural piece, and the image in my head I had was more of a traditional storybook type illustration, so I decided to play around with the textures. It does add a bit of depth, which is nice, and I do think it looks cool from far away, but up close it does look pretty messy, so I want to play around with textures a little more in future pieces. I had to look up a lot of references of spiders for this piece. Although, to be nice to any arachnophobes out there, I didn't put any of them into the reference page, but that does mean that like the search history on my phone is now all like spiders, spider legs, spider webs, spider faces. Oh, and on that note, even if you are terrified of spiders, like do me a favor, do yourself a favor. And Google search spider faces? Like, I did not realize this, but spiders have the cutest faces. Like, what the heck, nature? If the rest of the spider didn't look like a horrifying hell beast, I might actually like spiders. Like, the face says, I want to be your friend, and the rest of the body says, I want to consume the flesh of your firstborn. Which, I mean, is a look I go for in my day-to-day life too, so I guess I can relate. Anyway, all in all, I genuinely did enjoy working on this picture, and my computer only freaked out on me like 2 times, which was a relief considering how many layers this ended up being. But that's all I have to say for this video, so thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time. Bye!